Welcome to Grapeseed, a quiet rural town nestled in the heart of Plain County. It's where tractors outnumber cars and your neighbors are more likely to be cows than actual people. Grapeseed might seem like the most innocent place in all of San Andreas, but as with most things in GTA 5, don't let the sleepy facade fool you. While the rest of the map screams for attention, Los Santos with its skyscrapers, Sandy Shores with its chaos, and Palito Bay with its coastal mystery, Grapeseed is different. It doesn't scream, it whispers. And that makes it one of the most intriguing locations in the game. Because of that, there have been question marks about the actual location of the, at first glance, sleepy farmy town. And because of that, today we will be answering the question, where is Grapeseed supposed to be? For starters, I have to mention that Grapeseed suffers from the same illness as Palito Bay. Both locations are quite underutilized in the overall storyline of Grand Theft Auto. Because of that, Grapeseed's actual lore has been way harder to actually understand. While Los Santos is LA and Sandy Shores is a town on the edge of the Salton Sea, then Grapeseed has always been harder to place. In general, there are 4 different locations that fans believe Grapeseed to represent: Central Valley, Salinas Valley, and Imperial Valley, all located inside California. And some fans even believe Grapeseed to be a rural town from the state of Oregon. At first glance, it does seem like a generic rural town. Flat lands, long roads, endless fields, etc. But as always, Rockstar puts more detail into their world building than they often get credit for. Grapeseed, just like the rest of Plain County, is likely a deliberate patchwork of real-world references. Let's start by looking at what defines Grapeseed. The first thing anyone notices is its agriculture. Grapeseed is a farming community through and through. Massive crop fields dominate the landscape. Vineyards, grain silos, and irrigation channels fill the environment. It even has its own airstrip, Mackenzie Airfield, used for crop dusting and, well, smuggling if you are Trevor Phillips.
Yeah, well, you know, the feds, they're not supplying the arms to the Mexican criminals, so someone's gotta step it.
Oh yeah, they need guns, bro. So many guns. Luckily for us, they're easily acquired up here.
Yeah, well, that's our freedom's gift to the world, right?
You American? Man, I didn't even know. Anyway, shit, it's gonna be profitable for the both of us. But completion is tough, bro. To control the market down there, we gotta control supply up here. We got a couple local contracts to help us out stateside, so this plane is loaded with their shipments. You make a couple drops, you come back here.
You know, they say that the American industry is suffering, but you and I, we got a good export story.
Okay. I'll be on the radio, man. That's great.
All of this sometimes feels very similar to the scenery of the Pacific Northwestern states, particularly Oregon and Washington. Because of that, some fans argue that Grapeseed isn't based in California at all, but rather inspired by rural Oregon state, particularly the eastern parts. These regions have a similar climate, similar farmland, and similar terrain. But here's the thing, this theory quickly falls apart when we take into account Grapeseed's actual in-game geography. There's no reason why Grapeseed would be based off of Oregon or Washington if it sits literally on the coast of the Salton Sea, as well as relatively close next to Sandy Shores, both of which are a replica of Californian locations. Plus, we even confirmed it ourselves in another video that Palito Bay, a town even more north than Grapeseed, is still part of Southern California. Therefore, it would just make absolutely no sense that a small town south of it would somehow actually be considered a more northern location. So while it is fun to imagine Grapeseed as part of the Pacific Northwest, it just doesn't hold up when placed within the game's own geographical logic. There are no malls, no nightclubs, no suburbs, just dirt roads, rusted barns, and enough farmland to feed a small country. This gives us our first major clue. Grapeseed must be rural California, but where exactly? Some players have argued that Grapeseed is inspired by the Central Valley, the massive agricultural region that runs down the spine of California, and it's easy to see why. The Central Valley is home to towns like Modesto, Tulare, Madera, and Delano, all towns where the economy revolves almost entirely around agriculture. If you look up drone footage of these towns, especially places like Vasco or Shafter, the resemblance is striking. The checkerboard fields, the low one-story buildings, even the vegetation, it all looks like it could have been copy-pasted into GTA 5. But it gets even more specific. In the real world, crop dusting is still a huge part of agriculture in these regions. Towns like Firebaugh and Reedley in Fresno County have dozens of small private airstrips, just like Mackenzie Airfield. And yes, they actually do use planes like the Duster seen in the game. Now, some argue that Grapeseed's layout doesn't match Central Valley perfectly, and to be honest, that is true. Central Valley is mostly flat, with very little elevation change. Grapeseed, however, has a backdrop of hills and is bordered by Mount Chiliad to the north and the Alamo Sea to the west. And so this geographical location brings us to another possible inspiration, the Salinas Valley. Located further north along California's central coast, Salinas Valley is a major agricultural hub, sometimes even called the salad bowl of the world. Just like Grapeseed, it's surrounded by rolling hills, it has a mild coastal climate and features vast farmlands in every direction. But the biggest similarity, it's the grapes. And yes, we are talking about the literal grapes. Salinas Valley is known for its vineyards and wineries, while the name Grapeseed may be a direct reference to grape farming itself. To be honest, to me, that seems too on the nose to be a coincidence. Rockstar loves wordplay, and naming their fictional farm town Grapeseed is likely a nod to California's grape growing culture. Plus, the climate in the game reflects the Salinas Valley more than the baking hot Central Valley. Grapeseed is green, the grass grows, trees actually exist, it even rains. That doesn't often happen in places like Bakersfield. But the location on the map throws a wrench in also this theory. Grapeseed is positioned right next to the Alamo Sea, which, as we know from the Sandy Shores video, is Rockstar's version of the Salton Sea. That means that Grapeseed would need to be relatively close to that in the real world. And so this takes us south towards the Imperial Valley. The Imperial Valley is another major farming region, full of dusty towns and low-income agricultural communities. It's one of the few places where you can drive through fields, see a private airstrip, and be 5 minutes away from something that looks a lot like the Alamo Sea. Towns like Calipatria, Brawley and Westmoreland are solid candidates for Grapeseed real-life inspiration. They sit just east of the Salton Sea, surrounded by farms with low-density housing and long, empty roads. And let's not forget the Mackenzie Airfield missions in GTA Online that directly tied Grapeseed to the illegal air smuggling routes, something that echoes the history of smuggling activity in the real-life Imperial and Coachella valleys.
Hey! Welcome! You must be the new owner, huh? You know, seeing your name on the deed was a relief. The last owner of this place was, you know. Come on.
Violence, the great American pastime. And also our greatest export, huh? This is a golden opportunity.
There's a gap in the market for us right now.
And the money you spent? All invested. No rounds, no contacts. Okay, no entertainment. I'm telling you, my friend, we got a good thing going here. Few flights here and there, you in the cockpit, me on the comms. We're gonna be the biggest runners in the state, man.
But you might ask that, well, what's the catch? Well, vegetation. The Imperial Valley is dry. Really dry. Grapeseed again is far greener than anything you'll find near the Salton Sea. This contradiction brings up a pattern we have seen before in GTA 5's worldbuilding, composite design. Just like how Palito Bay borrows details from Crescent City, Monterey and Morro Bay, Grapeseed might also be a blend of all three of these regions. So let's do a quick recap. The Central Valley provides the layout, flat lands, farmlands and silos. Salinas Valley gives us the vineyard influence and the milder climate, while the Imperial Valley gives us the proximity to the Salton Sea. And visually, Grapeseed pulls elements from all three. The tractors and barns feel like Central Valley. The grapes and hills on the other hand feel like Salinas Valley. And the location on the map feels like Imperial. Even the people match the setting. In missions, the locals in Grapeseed often have a strong rural Californian accents. They often talk about farming subsidies and wear clothing straight out of a co-op catalog. It's clear that Rockstar wanted Grapeseed to feel like somewhere real. So, in conclusion, where does all of that leave us? After going through hundreds of references, maps and player theories, here's the conclusion that I have ultimately come up to. Grapeseed is not one town, rather it is a mixture of many. It's the rural farming towns of the Central Valley, it's the climate and hills of the Salinas Valley, and it is definitely the location of the Imperial Valley. Just like Palito Bay, Grapeseed is meant to feel familiar, but not exactly identifiable. It's an archetype, a place we have all driven past but never stopped to explore. It's California's farmland in a blender, and to me it feels like Rockstar made Grapeseed real enough to believe in, but yet vague enough to still argue about. But what do you guys think? Have you ever driven through a real town that reminded you of Grapeseed? Definitely let us know in the comments down below. Anyways, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed this documentary into the real world roots of GTA 5's map, be sure to check out the Palito Bay and Sandy Shores episodes as well. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay suspicious of any barn that gets too quiet.